Hello everyone, it's Ricardo and I'm back with No Man's Sky in part 4 of my gameplay series. Now I'm responding to a distress beacon, or a signal beacon, that's on one of the first planets as you jump into the system. We've gone and flown past some of the freighters and now we're using our pulse drive and you see this lovely rainbow prismatic effect. A little bit like hyperspace, but it isn't hyperspace because I haven't got a hyperspace drive yet, right? And that's something else I'm going to be moving on to. And this will allow you to get within system to places much quicker. Now you press the spacebar to engage this. Hold the spacebar down, counts down to 5 seconds, point in the direction that you want to go, and away you go. And then it drastically cuts down the amount of time that you are spending in space. So, we're coming up on the planet. Here we go. So now is a good time, I think, that if you haven't already done so, click that like and subscribe button and also the notification icon. You must all be aware by now of the new YouTube rules, so views, likes and subscriptions are all very important to us. So here we go. This is our first look at a planet and a planet's surface. Green and lush it looks like from orbit. Now, I really haven't had any time to have a good look at what you do when you land. So I'm basically just going to try and point to the general location, move in, and try and land. Now, I've got to sort some of the controls out. I've got a hot-ass stick. I've got the X52 Cytec, and I use that a lot for Elite Dangerous. And I get on really well with it. It's fantastic. It makes playing that game so much easier. The control method that's on this is keyboard and mouse at the moment, and I'm a little bit loath to change that because I'm starting to get used to it. But it's not very wieldy when you're in sort of a flight mode. So, despite that, I'm not in any combat at the moment anyway. I've located the beacon, and there's that structure there. I'm going to try and land as close to it as I possibly can. And you press the E key to initiate landing whilst in the ship. And I'm down. And that's it. Totally automated. Let's get out. It's saved my restore point. There's my lovely ship. And then we've got a whole new type of planets to explore. Different plants. Different structures. God knows what that is over there. That's probably carbon. This is the beacon, an interactive waypoint. It's sent out a pulse. It's taking me up several thousand feet to show me the surrounding area. And then back down. So, luckily with the scanner HUD on my helmet repaired, which is a good thing, I can not only collect some carbon, always very good for fuel, I need to refuel my ship, but I can then take the ship and fly over there. I haven't got to walk around on the planet's surface, which I was doing obviously on the first planet because the ship wasn't repaired. So not much really laying around, a couple of strewn empty boxes and the like. You can see big monoliths of whatever material over in the distance. Platinum. Iron. Huge iron deposits poking out of the planet's surface. So again, this looks like it's going to be mining to get resources, to get your ship ready to fly off to the next section, and then going off and investigating. So I'm going to recharge the pulse drive. There's always the mining laser as well. All these things have to be recharged on a constant basis, and it's part of your resource management aspect of the game. So yes, an iron and copper based planet. And we've got slightly different sentinels, slightly different coloured sentinels than what we've seen before. But we're not going to irritate them too much. Let's get back in the ship, take off and head on over towards that beacon. So, pulse engines are recharged. Yes, we'll recharge the launch thrusters. And let's get on our merry way. So, W to take off. Press and hold. And we're off and we're just skimming the surface. I'm going to be off in the general direction, and there it is marked, right in the centre, the distress signal. This is much easier than trolleying around on your own 2 feet across the planet's surface. And it is really nicely drawn, to be honest with you. Here's a habitat. I think I'm going to land by here or in the area and see what all this is about. Do a little bit of exploration while I'm on my way. Careful not to fall off that big, massive ravine that I happen to land on the precipice of. Now, this planet has got toxic damage. So whereas we had cold damage beforehand, now it's toxic damage. And depending on the planet you land in, different damage is going to be applicable to your suit. So suit management, very important. Let's take a look at some of these damage containers. What have we got in this one? I dare say, oh, another dagger. Right, well, they're worth money. And when I eventually go and get to a space station, I can trade all the things that I've collected and all the minerals that I've mined against that for other parts. Inside this structure, we've got nanites. I've got a full inventory of those. Nothing else, really. So quite a small little habitat there. Not too much going on like what we saw on the other planet. But let's do some inventory management and see what we can put onto the ship. Clear our inventory a little bit. I mean, rusted metal's not going to be particularly worth much. And that's something I can get rid of later. But I don't know. This is my first run through with the game. And probably more experienced players are going to know. If you do know, by any chance, if you've been playing No Man's Sky, put it in the comments. Any tips, hints and tips will help me out. And I'll give you a shout out as well. All credit where credit is due on this channel, everybody. And I'm finding this game quite refreshing to play while Elite Dangerous is going through its beta phase. And I've had a good look at the beta, and, you know, it looks to be shaping up with lots of changes that are going to be good for the player community. But you're in that sort of limbo phase. You know, you're in the limbo phase. Do you go out, do you make more money? If you can make more money, with like surface missions and in certain systems. Or do you indeed just get yourself over to the Founders World and ready for the new ship to drop? Who knows? And that's something I'll be dealing with another video on Elite Dangerous on my channel. Though back to No Man's Sky. I'm enjoying it. I'm finding it refreshing. And as I move over now across this landscape towards that distress signal, you know, I mean, it gives you a countdown, how long it's going to take for you to get there, so you're prepared. You know, and how long it would have taken me on foot, I don't know. Flying is definitely the way to travel, though. You know, and here we have a downed freighter. Or some ship. And given the ships we've seen in orbit, it's definitely the same design. So, let's land. There you go. A little bit on the cock there, but who cares? And now we're down. We can find the source of the distress signal. This is part of the Awakenings chapter. So here we go. Let's have a good look around. More toxic protection active. So it's eating through my suit. Definitely some items there. Pressing C on the scanner is going to reveal some of these items. Let's get up there and see what we can get. So up the steps. Log, okay, so partial records available. Signal has led me to the wreck of a freighter. Colossal fragments of metal scattered across the landscape. They've got the pilot's log. Awaiting input. Request the log. Ship's log accessing. The terminal spits out strange sequence of numbers. They are followed by anomaly comes from the stars. A schematic for a hyperdrive is attached to the end of the message. We'll take that blueprint. And it's for a starship like us. Hoping someone will find it. Fab. We need dynamic resonators and heridium. Okay, so we may have to go back and forth a few planets if we can't find any heridium here. And we need a dynamic resonator. Okay, so that was getting to the planet. These items here can call your ship if you've got one of those little chips. That was getting to the planet. We're going to do a little bit of exploration now around this freighter. But given the fact that there's a space station in orbit, I'm assuming I have to go and mine some materials and then get myself over to the space station and buy myself one of those dynamic resonators in order to have a hyperdrive from that blueprint. I've been Ricardo. Thanks very much for watching part 4 of No Man's Sky and the Distress Beacon. I'm going to carry on wombling about on this planet, looking for materials that's going to help me build this hyperspace drive, and then I'm going to head on over to the space station in the next video. Thanks very much for watching. Check back soon and look out for more videos in the series.